youngsters who are superstars in the series couldn't quite match the veteran. They will be the first three to see the yard of bricks for the first time under green. But will any of the three be the first to victory lane today? We'll see. For that call and everything else, James Hinchcliffe, Townsend Bell, and Lee Diffie.
Dave, as you know all too well, the entirety of the NTT IndyCar Series across the season is 17 races. And we have many magical weekends. We have many special moments, many great days. But Townsend, this is the sport's big one. This is the day.
No question, this is the big one. The biggest crowd on the biggest day in racing at the greatest racetrack in the world. But I'll tell you what's big. Let's talk racetrack. These are big speeds right here, just over my shoulder, going into turn one in practice, 244 miles an hour. This was Friday in perfect conditions. Colton Herta into the fence, big time, upside down. Watch the onboard here. It goes away, and then inside the cockpit, sparks as Colton Herta luckily able to walk away. But, James, that was in perfect conditions. The wind's picking up now, and all the drivers chasing the biggest prize in racing.
And why is it the biggest, Townsend? It's because of the history. 1911, we had the first Indianapolis 500 right here. Today, we start the 106th. The greatest of the greats have raced here. The greatest of the greats have won here, and that is why all 33 drivers are going to be risking it all to put their name in the history books and their face on that Warner Trophy.
You're going to hear the three of us talk a lot across the scope of the day about speed, skill, daring, danger, and the business end of it. But we've also got to have fun here today, right? And for that, we go to the Snake Pit with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Rutledge Wood. Take it away, Rut.
Oh, Lee, we would say hang on there, Jimmy Hinchcliffe. We have found the party. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and I are here at the Snake Pit, which, Dale, we're about 30,000 or so people strong over here.
It's incredible that simultaneously during the race, there's over 30,000 people here at the Snake Pit having their own party. It's a scene out here, man. This race, there's nothing like it.
Steve Aoki, Dead Mouse. This place is packed. We're going to have a lot of fun today, Mike.
Cannot wait. You guys enjoy, settle in over there. As you can see, the party's going, the cars are ready, the weather is warm and sunny, everything in place to see who will win the race that means so much.
Indy 500, one of the biggest races of the world.
It's unlike anything else I've ever done.
It's really intense.
And anytime you're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's a good day.
Lap one going into turn one where you're almost 250 miles an hour.
Arriving at speeds like that side by side and trusting you can go 2 by 2 together.
You have to surprise people. It's not about just nailing a lap. You have to nail 200 laps.
When it does go wrong, you don't really have too much time to think about it.
It's the only race that I'm actually nervous for.
I love the energy from the fans.
You pass for the leader, you can hear the people outside.
When somebody says the Indy 500, I think of it as something I want to win.
It's just one goal, to win the race.
It's my time to try to get a win. Put my name right there with my dad on the trophy.
I think my face needs to be on there.
It's the greatest trophy. It's the greatest milk, the greatest drink.
When you wake up that day, you know that someone's life is going to change.
I can win that. That would be the biggest thing in the world to me.
You know, it sounds cliche, but I always say it's a magical place.
You're watching Indy 500 pre-race coverage, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by He Gets Us, someone who defended the poor. Learn more at HeGetsUs.com.
This is the greatest spectacle in racing. The fans are back. The soul is back at the Speedway. This is the Indianapolis 500.
Colton Herta, he moves inside of Scott Dixon. Side by side, Renus BK goes to the lead. The crowd comes to their feet. Connor Daly has taken the lead.
Here comes Elio Castroneves into fourth. He's looking for third.
Side by side, they go into turn number 3.
Listen to the crowd roar as Elio Castroneves chases his fourth win.
Get ready for me.
Yeah, wheel fell off.
They're cheering loudly. Alex Palou to the inside of Elio Castroneves.
5 to go. Know what to do here.
Elio to the high side in turn number 1.
Welcome to the four-time club, Elio Castroneves.
Let's climb the fence, everyone. Come on, everyone. Woo!
I love Indianapolis.
What a scene last year. If there is one singular headline story this year, it is Elio Castroneves and his quest to become the first driver in the history of this race to win it 5 times. And last year, he made the sports elite club a foursome of 4-time winners, joining A.J. Foyt, Rick Mears, and Al Unser Sr., who sadly passed away last December. Today, it's Elio's chance to stand alone, and now he's standing by with Kevin Lee.
Mike, we are in the driver bus light while all these fans have gathered to see their racing heroes today and a chance to see something we haven't had a chance to see since '93. Someone going for a 5th win, and it's this young man here, Helio Castroneves. Have you allowed yourself the chance to think about doing something that no one's done before here?
Well, certainly I dream, about it, but you gotta. There's a lot going on. Obviously, to think in the end, you gotta first think in the beginning, and that's what we're doing right now. We have a huge challenge ahead of us, but I do have an amazing group of guys from Maya Shank Racing. Everyone is really excited, and so it's a long race. You gotta be patient, but we gotta be aggressive at the same time.
How do you get to the front from row 9?
Well, we just gotta find the opportunities, and those opportunities is going to create situations that you can pass. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you got to go different plan. So you got to keep it going. It's a constantly changing because of you never know if there is a yellow or who's in front of you that is being a little bit aggressive. So those are the little details, believe it or not, that people sometimes don't see that, but we got to consider.
Good luck today. Mike, if he gets to the front and wins, it's a $400,000 bonus from Borg Warner for winning back-to-back 500s for Helio Castroneves.
And Kev, it's another piece of history. He'd be the second driver to start 27th and win the 500. Only other time it happened 90 years ago. So that fence behind us, it's where Helio took the climb. Spider-Man enjoying the moment last year. Danik gets 4 wins, separated by 2 decades, and you've known Helio for a good part of that. It's amazing. He really hasn't changed much, has he?
No, and it was so exciting to be on the pagoda and to watch him climb right there. It was such a great view. But what you see is what you get with Helio, and I think that he talked about the dream. And I think you have to have that passion and that energy to be able to keep coming back. Like, some might just dream to do it once, but he's obviously dreaming to do it for a 5th time. So he's that guy. He's happy. He has an incredible personality, and I really feel that he has been such a great representative for the sport of IndyCar to be able to show everyone how amazing this is and bring him in here for the Indy 500 and maybe see his 5th time. Will he go over? Will he go over the fence?
Over the top? That's a good challenge. He loves a challenge, right? The beauty of Indy is it brings back its stars, and the 2 other living 4-time 500 winners are on hand today. Rick Mears, who was an early mentor to Castroneves. Mears won 4 times in 13 years, last in 1991. And how about 87-year-old A.J. Foyt, whose race team will have 3 cars in the field of 33 today. More on the drivers making up the 11 rows of 3 who will start from R3. We're going to call the race the great Lee Diffie and 2 Indy vets who have run 19 combined 500s, Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe. Diff?
And Mike, Kevin Lee opened up what you do at any of the Triple Crown races, and that is looking at the form guide of the competitors. So let's go right to the head of the field and talk about 41-year-old Kiwi Scott Dixon, who starts on the pole position. And Hinch, he's been with his team, Chip Ganassi Racing, for more than half of his life. So give the viewers at home a reason why they shouldn't be looking at him.
Carry the 2. There isn't one, Lee. There's no reason not to look at this guy to win. Let's look at Scott Dixon's statistics here at the Indy 500. 3 runner-up finishes, 5 pole positions, record-setting pace doing that. He's got the chance today to be the all-time lap leader here at the Indy 500, but he only, and I use air quotes when I say it, has 1 Indy 500 trophy. When he got that, he was a 1-time series champion. He's got 5 more of those, 6-time series champ. He wants nothing more than to get that second Borg Warner.
And the question I get all the time, James, is why is Scott Dixon so good? Well, let's take a look at some telemetry data from qualifying. Thanks to Firestone, you can see Dixon's onboard camera during the 4-lap run, and on the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you can see the tire use data. This is the load that are going into all 4 tires on Dixon's car. And I think what's really impressive is how smooth Scott Dixon loads the steering wheel. Watch this into turn 3. He's just going to nurse this thing into the corner, ease in those loads. He is so easy on the tires. That makes the tires last longer, gives him a better chance to be stronger later in this race.
And Mike, when you see that footage, he is so smooth that there is no surprise that he posted the fastest pole speed ever to head the fastest qualifying field ever at the Indianapolis 500.
Can't wait for the speed, Diff, and guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Dixon's the one who ends up with the 3 symbols of victory at the 500. The winner's wreath, the bottle of milk, and that trophy, the unique Borg Warner trophy, over 5 feet tall. It weighs 110 pounds, unique for bearing the likeness of the winners. Trophy's 85 years old and the source of plenty of stories. Here's one maybe you haven't heard before.
The Borg Warner Trophy is the most iconic trophy in all of sports, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was looking for somebody to be the caretaker. So in 1953, there was an ad in the Indianapolis Star. Jack McKenzie, a college student who went to Butler University, he needed to pick up some extra money. He was going through the want ads, and wow, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway needs somebody to take care of the Borg Warner Trophy. This is my dream job as a college student. So the first year, Jack got paid $75. It stayed in his room at the fraternity house of Butler until one night he went on a date. He tucked the trophy away under his bed.
He was the custodian of it 24/7. Well, his fraternity brothers obviously knew he had it. When he got back home that night after his date, it was gone.
So Jack walks into his room. He reaches under his bed. Nothing. I mean, his heart starts pounding, he's sweating and nervous. I mean, he's panicked. Where is the Borg Warner trophy? Well, he hears everybody down the basement, so he's going to go ask his buddies.
Finally found it at a party, and some of his fraternity brothers using the trophy as a big communal cup.
They're drinking beer out of the Borg Warner trophy, but more than mad, Jack was relieved. I found the trophy. So he goes, I got to clean this up, and makes it respectable again, and says, I don't ever want to see you guys drinking beer out of the Borg Warner trophy again. It stays locked in my room unless I say otherwise.
Lesson learned. It's under a bit better security these days, and if you don't believe that story, we got a little proof. There is a picture of a beverage inside the Borg Warner trophy. Maybe the winner can do that in a private moment, but it's not happening to the real deal. As we said, that security is much better these days. The question for today, will it be a new face or a familiar one added to one of sports' great trophies? Our pre-race coverage continues in a moment. That music means big month of golf on the horizon. U.S. Women's Open next week, and in 3 weeks, the 122nd U.S. Open at the Country Club in Brookline, Mass. Father's Day weekend on NBC, USA, and Peacock. There's golf here at Indianapolis, 4 of the 18 holes of the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course inside the track. It's just a medium iron from where the drivers spend more time than they do on the track in the month of May. The bus lot. Our James Hinchcliffe has driven in this race 9 times. Let's just say it's a neighborhood he knows pretty well.
Welcome to the bus lot here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This place is the home away from home for all the drivers and team owners that are going to be competing this weekend. And it's also been known to be the home of a prank or two.
First day of practice Tuesday here at the Speedway. We heard that something happened at Connor Daly's hot tub. I came to investigate. This is what happened. These are little gel balls, hundreds of pounds of gel balls. We don't know how it happened. We don't know who did it, but we're gonna find out.
You still don't know who did the hot tub?
No. Do you know?
I can't say.
What do you mean you can't say? You're literally here as an investigative journalist.
Connor Daly's hot tub prank, right?
Yeah.
You know the things that that went in there?
Yes.
What are they called?
What are they?
Oh, you don't know?
Do they like expand or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
See, I was trying to catch him. I was trying to get him to say the name, exactly what they did, how they worked.
No, I
Because
don't
I have
know
a theory it was you.
Connor, has there been any developments on who may have been the culprit? No, but it's probably you. What? There's your culprit. Oh, like all guilty parties, they show up to the scene of the crime.
Why'd you do it, Scott?
What?
Connor's hot tub.
No, I didn't.
Why'd you do it?
I'm literally locked out my bus right now.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, like, I actually can't get back in.
I know for a fact that you've already taken a shot back at Joseph Newgarden. Is he a suspect?
Well, absolutely. I mean, look at his face. He's a dad now.
Yeah.
He's
Dads are known for pranks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm putting it right out there. It could be Jimmy Johnson.
For breaking development.
Well, he's a dad.
It's always the ones you least suspect.
Exactly.
And while we did try our best to get to the bottom of Hot Tub Gate 2022, fact of the matter is, we may never know.
And the truth is, as we stand here at the front of the grid, guys, we still don't know who the culprit is. But there's a reason that drivers are comfortable doing pranks, Town. So why don't you tell us about life in the bus lot?
You know, there's a smirk and the purple suit and the whole thing. It's suspicious. It is still super suspicious, but there is an air of seriousness to the bus lot, and that's consistency for the race drivers. When I raced here, I wanted the same routine every time. When you strap yourself into the race car, there's no halftime. There's no sideline you can run to if something goes wrong. I wanted my muffins from San Luis Obispo right there. I wanted my own bed, my own linens. I wanted consistency on race day.
You don't get that with us. Forget about that. How about this for a nice heartwarming story and a family angle? Will Power, who has won this race back in 2018, hadn't seen his comedian brother Damien in 3.5 years, and he surprised him in the bus lot. That could be the winning difference today for Team Penske's Will Power. What a beautiful story. All right, time to hear from the Indiana native, the man with the hot tub. Connor Daly is without Dylan Welsh. Dylan?
And still no culprit, as Hinch said, as to who bamboozled his hot tub, but all about the race car today. And let's talk about last year. The hometown kid led the most laps until that errant tire just kind of fell out of the sky on you. But to do that, to lead laps at Indianapolis, how special was that for you last year?
I mean, even just walking out right now, almost get emotional looking at everyone. It's just good to have everyone back here. The Speedway and Roger Penske and his group have done such a great job, and last year was such a great experience. But it also added a lot of knowledge to my memory bank, and so now I think we definitely know how to get there, and when we get there, I think we know what to do. So we have a clear mission in front of us today, and I do believe we have the car to do it. So I can't wait to get going. I mean, this is the most confident I've ever felt, and to have Bitnile here for their first Indy 500 across 3 of our cars, and to be a part of the Chevy camp is really awesome as well.
Mike, Connor Daly, the hometown hero from just up the road in Noblesville, rolls from 18th today.
And Dylan, you know what he's feeling too. You're an Indiana guy as well, enjoying a special day at home. You can hear the emotion in his voice before he climbs in his car here. Danica, he's from Noblesville, 30 miles north of here. He led the most laps last year in this race. He talked about the experience he got. What's interesting is when he went back and saw the video of him taking the lead, he heard the crowd root for the hometown guy and go nuts. He said it gave him chills and got him emotional. Now, you had a moment similar to that. Your first time here, when you took the lead, the videos are great of this place going nuts. I'm sure you get asked a bunch. Could you hear any of the crowd going wild when you were in the car?
Funny, I got asked that a lot. A lot of people said, could you hear the crowd when you took the lead at the end? And I was like, no, it's 700 plus horsepower and 300,000 people and 30 of my friends. No, but it just like, obviously it's such a big deal here. There's so many people. The roars are triumphant. I go back and watch that video and get goosebumps. So sometimes when you don't win, there are still moments that are insanely memorable. But I got to tell you, when you're a local guy like Connor Daly or Ed Carpenter, it definitely boosts the crowd just a little for you.
Glad you mentioned Ed Carpenter. Starts on the inside of row 2. Same team, terrifically fast cars. Great chance to win this 500 and be a hometown hero. You can get involved in the Indy 500 action with the NBC Sports Predictor app. It's simple. Predict the outcome of today's race for a chance to win the $50,000 jackpot. Download and play for free. One of the 8 questions for your chance of $50,000. Which former Indy 500 winner will finish the highest today? Maybe that'll help you with an answer. We're over an hour until the green flag, but the party is well underway inside the track. We are bound for the Snake Pit with Rutt, Dale, and a whole mess of their friends as we continue live here on NBC. Throughout the Indy racing season, you can grab your mobile device and scan the QR code or the one right there on your screen. It's a chance to win $25,000 at HighVDeals.com. It's simple. Just scan that QR code, register to win, and we thank our friends at Hy-Vee. Beautiful day. Temperature will be in the upper 70s, and our aerial coverage here in Indianapolis is brought to you by Honda. As we get set for our broadcast, for the first time, the Indy 500 has a companion broadcast on a domestic Spanish language network. It airs today on Universo. Enjoy that. Roger Penske took over this IndyCar series and the Speedway a couple of years ago. And so this is 3rd year in charge, but the first with a full house to enjoy everything that has been upgraded. $30 million of improvements around the Speedway. And this guy, he found a pretty big wedding venue, or at least proposal venue, earlier this morning outside the pagoda, a proposal. She gave him the green flag. I'm going to guess the wedding is held in a slightly smaller hall, but congratulations to them. There's also a graduation on the track this morning. Everything happens on 500 Sunday. It's a big place. How big? We'll tell you. Think of the number of fans. You can fit about 400,000 fans in field and stands and the whole deal. Well, if you take everybody who's at Roland Garros watching the French Open on NBC, Yankee Stadium, the Etihad where Man City won the Premier League, SoFi where we'll be for the start of the NFL season, and AT&T Stadium for the opener of Sunday Night Football with the Cowboys and the Bucks, all those folks together would fit in here with room to spare. And speaking of the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott, one of the many VIPs on hand to take in everything that there is to take in at the Indy 500. Now, we still have 20,000 people over in Turn 3, the Snake Pit. It's a place Art Dale Earnhardt Jr. discovered on his 2019 visit to the Brickyard.
If somebody's telling you, man, you're going to go to the Snake Pit, or there's a thing called the Snake Pit, I mean, your imagination is like, what could that be? I'm working with Rut all day. When we walked up to the Snake Pit, it's just a sea of people. I look over and there's this balloon that's probably about 20 foot in the air, and it had a white cross on it as a red balloon. I said to Rut, I said, hey, that's like a sign, hey man, if you need help, if you need medical attention, come this way. This is a pretty intense place if there needs to be a weather balloon in the air. This sort of lets everybody know, like, this is the way to help. This is where you go if you're in trouble. You know, the music's starting and the bass is shaking the whole place. You know, have you ever been in a car when the bass is going and it tickles your nostril hairs? I mean, that's what was going on. They're looking at us, wondering what we're about to do. And you're getting a little nervous, like, what are they going to do? They don't care about live television. Somebody might streak buck naked across the front of the screen. Anything could have happened.
One thing they told me we had to see before we left was the Snake Pit.
But the people around us were, like, happy we were there, you know, and they were enjoying their moment.
I can't believe how insane this party is. I partied hard, but I've never partied this hard.
There's so much happening at that racetrack that I had no clue was going on all my life. And there's not another race that I know of that you can go to where you're going to witness something like the Snake Pit happening simultaneously. And so the Snake Pit's sort of its own experience.
And we're back live at the Snake Pit. We had so much fun in 2019. We know that the race itself has a grand marshal. Well, so does the Snake Pit. WWE Superstar Titus is here. What does the grand marshal of the Snake Pit do?
Oh, I mean, clearly I got to add to the energy that this crowd is getting ready to do. It's the 106th running of the Indy 500. I came here last year at 30%, but this is definitely not 30%. 100% participation both inside of the track and outside of here. I got to get these people going. I got to get these people going.
Man, this is unbelievable. We saw him here last year for the 500, so we know, fan frame it, right? Hell in the Cell is coming up exclusively on Peacock next Sunday at 8 p.m. But Titus, if Junior and I wanted to try to be in the WWE, what do we need to have the swag like you and your fellow athletes do? What are we missing?
Oh, well, you definitely need character. You definitely need personality. Athletic ability is a must. But most in all, you need to be able to connect with the people and let people in. Smile as a good guy and be as menacing as possible as a bad guy. And if you're a good enough bad guy, you'll definitely turn into a good guy. And if you're a good enough good guy, you'll turn into a bad guy. So I think both of y'all have been villains at one point in your lives, and you definitely are good guys now.
All right. What do you think? Can we try it?
I think we can do it, right?
Maybe we'll get it together. Raw is tomorrow night, 8/7 Central on USA. Who knows? Maybe we'll be there too. Mike?
Hell in the Cell next Sunday.
Neither one of you guys could ever be a bad guy. And you know what? Titus Ruttendale bouncing in the Snake Pit. You can check that off our bucket list of things you've seen in the Snake Pit once before. So that's the scene. A few might see a little bit of the race, but most of those people over there will not see anything in the race. So we've said it. You've come here as a kid. You ever been to the Snake Pit?
By the sounds of it, they won't even be able to hear the cars over there. Well, technically, here's the reason why I haven't been to the Snake Pit.
Okay.
So my dad used to come here in the 70s, and he would go and he'd set up scaffolding like 20 feet tall on the back of a truck with like wooden planks so that they could see the race, and he wasn't even the highest. And it was a crazy, crazy scene. And so then he meets my mom, and my mom wants to go to the Indy 500, and he goes, no, it's no place for ladies.
So that means you haven't been there. We can assign you there next year if you want to go over.
Only if you go.
Not dressed like this. We have to clean it up a little bit. When we come back, it is back to the cars and back to the stories, including one of the big stories of this weekend. Jimmie Johnson there with his family, one of the 5 drivers for Ganassi Racing, but getting so much attention because of his story through his great career and his chance to make history here today at the Indy 500. Summer's #1 show returns with one surprise after another. AGT, America's Got Talent, premieres Tuesday, 7 Central on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Back here in Indy, let's take you back to your childhood. Do you remember when you raced slot cars as a kid? Well, this is the grown-up version, the Spindy 500. You're the engine powering the cars around a mini Indy, and some of the drivers already had fun with it. Today, it's the fans' turn to get their chance to do it here at IMS. Speaking of turn, first turn for some rookies on this big stage. 9 have won the Indy 500 as a rookie, including Ray Haroun. His win in the first race in 1911 counts. You go on through the first international winners in there, Jules Gu of France, and 3 of this year's drivers. Juan Pablo Montoya has won twice, 4-time winner Helio Castroneves, and Alexander Rossi won the 100th Indy 500 in 2016. There have been few, if any, to wear the rookie title like Jimmie Johnson, who, as many of you know, won 7 NASCAR Cup Series titles, but makes his Indy 500 debut today, guided by a familiar voice from his great racing career, his spotter and father, Gary.
We've had a crazy road through racing, starting on motorcycles, off-road. We never even planned on racing a stock car, and then that all happened. It was like a dream come true, and now to be here, and this is my first Indy 500. So this is huge to me, and to be part of it and be with Jimmy here this is absolutely amazing.
I can remember watching the Indy 500 on the couch with my dad and my grandfather. Kind of planted that seed in my mind that maybe I could race IndyCar someday.
The very first time I took him on mini bikes, we went clear to Ponca City, Oklahoma, and I don't know who was more nervous, his first national event, him or me, and the gate dropped and he didn't even move. All the bikes left, and I knew then we had to go do those things, get ready for something as big as this.
This is, and always will be, the greatest spectacle in racing.
And then to be able to really look at this opportunity and think how we could work together again and have fun and kind of reminisce on these moments of my childhood, and it's just really special, and that's what the Indy 500 is about. I think the thing that I'm getting better at and savoring so far is just taking a quick second to enjoy the moment. So 3 wide, coming around to salute the fans, knowing Dad's going to be up in turn 3, I'll certainly smile and enjoy that moment.
And he's been waving at me, so we've been waving back and forth, so that's pretty cool.
Because he would usually give me the hand signs when I was on the track on my dirt bike, and every time by it was this, for think. And,
that too, yeah.
Yeah, think and go. So I still feel that, think that. In some respects, when I go by where I know he's spotting, that's like deep in the back of my mind and pops up. The family environment I grew up in with my mom and dad, making racing so available for me and my brothers. We are a racing family through and through, and it's been quite a journey.
Racing is always all about family, and it continues to the next generation as well, as Jimmy's daughters are here as well, Lydia and Genevieve. And boy, when we talked Thursday, you said the nerves not really there, no pressure really there. We're an hour to green flag. Jimmy, are you still not nervous and don't feel the pressure?
Starting to build. It's hard not to have a build with this type of moment in front of me and 300 plus thousand fans in the stands. But just thankful for this opportunity. We look forward to it.
Well, your entourage today will be Darius Rucker, Andy Roddick, Brooklyn Decker, and some guy named Blake Shelton over there. So tell us about the program you've got going on with Blake and your helmet design.
Just so honored to represent the men and women that have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for Memorial Day weekend. In my association with the American Legion, Blake and I both have family members that served, and we wanted to honor them and make a helmet in their honor.
And you had a big part in this design, didn't you, Blake?
Oh, I'm a helmet designing dude. I got to tell you right now, man. He didn't implement. My one idea was to put a mullet in the back of the helmet, just to flap in the wind. I thought would be cool, but Jimmy didn't want to go for it. That helped the aerodynamics, so we didn't do it.
So who's the good luck charm today, you or the girls?
He offered a sidecar for me. Just I don't want to be that much of a burden, but I like to feel like I know you love your daughters and they love you, but I feel like I'm the good luck charm.
Blake Shelton hanging out with Jimmy Johnson today. When I asked him Thursday if Jimmy felt like his chance to win this race was real, he said, "Oh yeah, we have a real shot to win today, Mike."
And Marty, the car showed it, especially in qualifying. Danica, one of your peers from NASCAR days. Why do you think Jimmy's doing this?
You know, my dad watched qualifying with his dad on pit road, and he just said he is having so much fun. And so I think whether it's bikes, stock cars, open wheel cars, he just loves racing. And I think it's so cool with his dad spotting. It's such a family affair. And speaking of family affair, you know who just walked away that I said hi to? Chad Knaus. And now he's not his dad, but they have spent so many years together, so that's cool to see.
So many folks rooting for Jimmy, pulling for Jimmy, and here to support him. He's a 46-year-old rookie, one of 7 making their Indy debut. There's another rookie who has plenty of big-time racing experience, 36-year-old Romain Grosjean, the Formula One vet. He's standing by now with Kevin Lee.
Mike and the American fans have taken to Romain Grosjean. It's been quite a journey for you. What do you make of this first experience at the Indy 500?
I cried coming to the green room. It is big. It is really big, bigger than everything I was expecting. I'm glad to be here. I cried because of all the journey from the Bahrain accident, because my kids and my wife are here, and because they allow me to do that, which is a dream. So I've been enjoying those last 2 weeks, and hopefully today I do a good job.
Mike, it's a wonderful story. Grosjean starting from row 3 today.
It is such an interesting story with Grosjean. Of course, we saw the dramatic moments with Grosjean. Those of you who've been following Formula One, you know about November in 2020, this horrific accident in the Bahrain Grand Prix, literally rising from the flames to escape with his life. He told our Marty Snyder recently that during his time in the hospital, overcoming those injuries, his mind was on making it to his first day of IndyCar testing so he could join Jimmy Johnson, the rest of the rookie class, and be a part of this Indianapolis 500. It's a little bit of behind the scenes, some family, some of the celebrities who are here, but the drivers as they all assemble for driver intros. And what a moment it will be. We just experienced this walking out from the pagoda out here to the track. As you look to your left, you look to your right, all you see are people. No gathering this size, not just in American sports, but anywhere. The gates opened at 6 a.m. There have been some fans in those seats for the last 4.5 hours just waiting for the race, which doesn't happen without the drivers. We're going to be introduced to this crowd of over 300,000 right now. And here's Alan Bestwick.
Fans, let's welcome special guest superstar DJ Steve Aoki. And now, let's meet our pace car driver for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge. 9-time Indy 500 competitor, Sarah Fisher. And now the drivers for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge. Starting in 33rd position, competing in his 4th Indy 500, from Sheffield, England, Stephen Wilson. Also from England, making his 6th Indy 500 start, it's Jack Harvey. And the first driver from his country competing in the Indy 500 from Denmark, Christian Lundgaard. In row number 10, he won his first of 2 Indy 500 championships as a rookie in 2000 and won again in 2015. From Colombia, Juan Pablo Montoya. In the starting in his third Indy 500 from Ontario, Canada, Dalton Kellett. This rookie won last year's Indy Lights Championship. It's Florida's Kyle Kirkwood. Starting in row 9, last year's champion pursuing an unprecedented 5th Indianapolis 500 victory, it's the Spider-Man, Elio Castroneves. Winner of this year's Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, from Christchurch, New Zealand, Scott McLaughlin. And this year's GMR Grand Prix winner, back for his 4th Indy 500, Colton Herta. Now the 8th row, a rookie from Toronto, Canada. Welcome Devlin DiFrancesco. In the middle, he's completed 3,000 laps over 16 career Indy 500 starts, Marco Andretti. And the 2013 Indy Lights champion, he moved up 24 places to finish 7th last year, Sage Karam. Starting in his 15th consecutive Indianapolis 500, Graham Rahal. He took the checkered flag at the 100th Indy 500 in 2016 and finished 2nd in 2019, Alexander Rossi. And competing in his first Indy 500 from Cambridge, England, Callum Ilott. From Noblesville, Indiana, starting in his 9th Indianapolis 500, Connor Daly. He was the 2011 runner-up and Rookie of the Year, now starting his 12th Indy 500, J.R. Hildebrand. And 2016 NTT IndyCar Series champion and 2019 Indy 500 winner, Simon Pagenaud. In row 5, 2019 Rookie of the Year, starting his 4th Indy 500, Santino Ferrucci. Two-time NTT IndyCar Series champion from 2017 and 2019, Joseph Newgarden. And Indy Lights sensation with 7 wins in 2021, making his Indy 500 debut, David Malukas. On to row number 4. He captured 4 Brickyard 400 championships here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and makes his Indy 500 debut today, Jimmy Johnson. In the middle, he swept the month of May in 2018, winning the Indy 500 and GMR Grand Prix. From Australia, Will Power. Two-time champion in 2017 and 2020 from Tokyo, Japan, Takuma Sato. 3, starting in his first Indy 500 from Geneva, Switzerland, Romain Grosjean. The NTT IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year from 2019 from Sweden, Felix Rosenqvist. The winner of this year's Indy Grand Prix of Alabama from Monterrey, Mexico, Pato O'Ward. On to the second row, from Brazil, the 2013 champion, making his 21st Indy 500 start. It's TK Tony Kanaan. In the middle, back for his 4th Indy 500 from Sweden, Marcus Ericsson. He was the pole sitter and runner-up in 2018 from Indianapolis, Indiana, Ed Carpenter. The front row, 2020 NTT IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year and winner of the 2021 GMR Grand Prix, Rinus VeeKay. Winner of the 2021 NTT IndyCar Series Championship and last year's Indy 500 runner-up from Barcelona, Spain, Alex Palou. And after a record fastest pole qualifying time of 234.046 miles per hour from Auckland, New Zealand, it's the Iceman, Scott Dixon. There they are, fans, the 33 drivers for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race presented by Gamebridge.
And those final introductions, the two teammates who qualified 1-2 will start side by side. The 6-time IndyCar Series champ Scott Dixon and the reigning series champ Alex Palou. The teammates sat down with Arlie Diffie.
Scott, why hasn't this place been a little bit kinder to you when you have done pretty much everything right?
You know, this place owes me nothing. You know, it's a privilege to race here, and you know, for very few people that get to experience it in the world, you know, I'm one of the lucky, you know, less than 70 people that have ever had the opportunity to win here.
Scott Dixon from New Zealand, and he is the winner of the 92nd Indianapolis 500-mile race.
I don't know, man. I'll just keep trying to knock on that door, and hopefully one day it opens again. But, you know, the competition is very tough.
Alex, you gave us a thrilling finish last year. We could be talking about you being the 2021 winner. It was so close.
It was close, but it was still like a lot of miles far from winning it, and that's the difference. I'm still learning a lot. Obviously, I'm still feeling a lot more comfortable than I was last year, even when I finished. So I'm looking forward. Hopefully I know a bit more stuff. I'll keep knocking on the door as well. I know it's only my 3rd time, but I'll knock harder.
You both have to go barreling into turn 1 on Sunday. Who's going to lead into turn 1?
Well, the pole sitter should lead going into turn 1.
I
you know,
agree with that.
Yeah. Hey, it's a long race. As long as we do it and we don't hit each other, that'll make Chip happy.
Let's get through the first turn, right? That's part of the story of the start 3 abreast here at Indy. Dixon is the betting favorite for the 3rd consecutive Indy 500. Danica, 6 series titles, 5th time on the pole. I think of being in Indianapolis, Peyton Manning, unmatched Hall of Fame career. But that 2nd Super Bowl, that was the one that you say, okay, now he's in that elite group as well. Can you make that parallel with Dixon?
100%. I'm so glad you said that, because that's how I feel about Scott, and that's how I feel about any champion like him or Peyton or any of them that have won in multiple decades and over a really big span of time, and he just stays at it. I want to sit down and interview him and ask him, like, what fuels you? Because he's been going at it and being so successful for so long. But I tell you what, if he wins here today, this will solidly put him 2nd most successful IndyCar driver of all time, between AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti. So that's not so bad.
That's crazy. If he does win this Indy 500, he'll have a 2nd Indy championship, and He'll tie Mario for the most IndyCar wins. Don't forget the driver on the outside of row 1, Rinus VeeKay, the Dutchman. We are expecting big things out of him, starting in that same spot for the second straight year. Very confident he was on Friday. Well, his teammate, Scott's teammate, also looking for a second Indy 500 win, Tony Kanaan. Last month, American Legion and Kanaan unveiled their special Indy 500 paint scheme. It's called Be the One. It's an effort to help veterans through their toughest times by creating an outlet for vets to be the one to ask, listen, and reach out for help. Learn more at www.betheone.org. When we come back, more from the four-time champ, Castroneves, Elio chasing history for win 5 today at the 500.
And the drive for 5 begins right now for Elio Castroneves.
Yeah, Drive for 5 became sort of a slogan, but now it's my mojo. Even my codes in the bank, it's Drive for 5. Oh boy, now they're gonna find out. We have an amazing opportunity to win 5 times. 5 times! Being able to be part of making history, this is, oh my God, it's incredible.
This is, and always will be, the greatest spectacle in racing. Look at the crowd. They know history's on the line. Welcome to the 4-time club, Elio Castroneves.
If history happens today, there will be plenty of people to see it. More than 325,000 fans settling in on this gorgeous Memorial Day Sunday here in Indianapolis. Largest gathering in America since the pandemic. Everyone finding their place to watch the greatest spectacle in racing. And no doubt, smartphones are going to be out, pictures taken when the green flag drops in less than 45 minutes. And to do that, the honorary starter for today's race, standing by with Dale and Rutt. Guys.
So exciting, Mike. I mean, Miles Teller, star of Top Gun Maverick, is here with us. Hey, first off, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's just it's one of the biggest sporting events in the world. So when they invited me and wanted me to start it, I was just very flattered. I'm excited.
So I got to ask you, I've waved the green flag in a few races. It's kind of nerve-wracking. I want to know if you've practiced it all first.
I got a little, I think, test. They just said, figure eights and commit and just, be brave with it.
That's great advice. Yes, absolutely. Go
and don't drop it.
Don't drop it.
That's the biggest thing.
I mean, man, to be in a movie like this, we know you've been in acting for a long time, but to see the reaction to a film like this, Memorial Day weekend, I know you spent a lot of time with people in the Navy. You learned a lot. What was training like? What was this experience for you to get so close to so many soldiers?
Well, it was really intense training. Tom kind of did a boot camp for us. We were flying for 4 months before we ever started filming. Graduated all the way up to the F-18s, and we were flying with the best fighter pilots in the world, and you're not going around there sightseeing. When you're filming Top Gun, you're going up there and you're ripping it, pulling 7.5 Gs, and it's it was intense, but the audience really gets to reap the benefits of it because there's no CGI, the cameras are in the cockpit, and we are, grip and rip, man. It's an incredible film.
With all the things that you've had the opportunity to do in your life, coming to the Indy 500s, 300,000 plus here today. I mean, there's people everywhere you look. Have you seen anything like this before?
I've never seen anything like this before. I've been to some NASCAR races. I've done the Kentucky Derby. The things that just feel like the pinnacle of these American sports that we have, and it is for me too.
Have a great time today, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate
Miles Teller, Mike, you got to go see it. Top Gun Maverick right here.
We won't be alone when we do that, right? Everybody looking forward to that. Talking about the celebrities, you see that scene behind us on the grid and backstage as well. When you were back there as a driver, did you ever see the celebrities and say, "Ooh, that's a pretty special person"?
Oh yeah, and it's one of those opportunities where they're the one that actually wants to meet you, and you're like, you want to, but you need to focus. So yeah, that's the hobnob area back there.
When the drivers come out and they see the crowd, what are the emotions like for them? Because they're just waiting to get in the car and get this race finally underway.
It's tough to take it in completely because you really do have a job to do. But the nerves, I'm telling you, Mike, the nerves from basically where I'm talking about for driver intros all the way until they say drivers to your cars is the most nervous time. And then, of course, you walk out here and you've seen what you haven't seen in, well, now a few years, since 2019, with over 300,000 people here. And then you have the pageantry. It's Memorial Day weekend. You have taps. You have back home again in Indiana. And then when the national anthem plays and the Jets fly over, it's like you can't avoid the emotion of it, even as a driver.
All that coming up here in a couple of minutes. So all these fans have their favorites, and so do the odds makers. We mentioned earlier that Scott Dixon is the favorite in this race, right ahead of teammate Alex Palou. Now, tied for 6th on that list is Colton Herta. His odds got worse, but did get better as the days have gone on. But his chances may have got worse after Friday and Carb Day. Scary flip after hitting the wall in turn 1. The newly added technology of the aero screen in 2020 helping to protect the cockpit and in part leading to Herta being healthy enough to race today, and he's standing by now with Dylan Welch.
Yeah, Mike, certainly glad to have Colton in the field today after that frightening incident. Biggest difficulty he'll maybe face today is the fact that it's a backup car today, a car that hasn't been in oval trim all month long. The good news is it's the car that won on the road course here at Indianapolis just a couple weeks ago. But Colton, in a car that you haven't turned any oval laps in until you go down into turn 1 on lap 1, what will be the biggest challenge of your day?
I think knowing the aero balance, you always have small discrepancies between your front wing and your backup front wing, and vice versa with the rear wing. So that's probably going to be the biggest thing. But luckily, we're pretty far back, which isn't a great thing normally. But in this case, I think it is, because we will have a lot of cars in front of us that will really dictate the balance of the race car. We'll probably have understeer to start with, but amazing job by all my guys to get the car done and ready. It was a brand new everything: engine, gearbox, chassis, whole right side, a little bit of the left side. So props to them for getting it done for me today.
New car, but he'll keep his starting position. Dave, car 26, and Colton Herta rolls from 25th this afternoon.
Dylan in 10 tries. Joseph Newgarden has not won the Indy 500. He knows that it's something he can do to make number 11 special. What do you have to change?
I don't think anything. We know we can get to the end of this race and be in position to win it. And I think the thing for us is we get there, we've just got to be able to close the deal. We've done that a couple times where we've been in position and just couldn't close. Today we want to try and execute and get it done. But I feel so confident in the Fuel Rewards car, our team Chevy. It's a big weekend for us. Shell announced that we're going 100% renewable fuels in 2023. Huge announcement for our series and where we're going in the future. And to have the Indy 500 back, full capacity here, there's nothing better in this race day.
I'm watching Joseph walk around, Mike. He's been loving this with his wife, Ashley, and they just love the atmosphere here. He'd like to win for the first time today with this huge crowd.
And Newgarden, Herta, a couple of drivers who you talk to folks who know the sport and are around it all the time. Those are guys you would normally pick with a great chance to win and break their talent, team, all of that. But the Herta incident from Friday, Danica, we were sitting next to each other along with Dale Jr. on the Peacock pit box. It's a reminder of how